The CPI data came in higher than expected, but lower than the previous month, which is actually quite bullish for the overall crypto markets. But we can see that Bitcoin and the overall crypto market, yes, a lot of people are turning extremely bearish exactly here. And I'm going to show you why this is exactly the wrong place to turn bearish exactly now. And I'm going to show you when we could expect this next major move and what is going to happen to the price movement of Bitcoin and the overall crypto market. Because yes, I'm still extremely bullish, and if you're not going to use this opportunity and if you're going to try to outpace the market, you're going to lose a lot of money. So if you want to be smarter than 99% of the market, you need to watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe, and welcome back to B4Crypto. Yes, the overall crypto market looks extremely bearish at the moment, even though we got this positive reading from the CPI results, but keep in mind, it is CPI, also called CPI, because these numbers are manipulated to drive the overall market. And yes guys, I do believe that the crypto market is being manipulated at the moment and for the very last time to push you out of the market, because yes, a lot of whales, nations and corporations are using the fear, uncertainty and doubt to get a lot of people out of the market, because if major institutions, corporations, or even nations want to buy Bitcoin, what do they need? They need a lot of selling pressure so that they can buy huge amounts of Bitcoin, and this is exactly what we have been seeing in this major manipulation. And yes, I've called from the beginning. If you've been watching my channel, yes, I called exactly here at the end of March that this is just a major manipulation and that the worst case for Bitcoin is not going to be a major dump. No, a major consolidation, a sideways move to push a lot of people out of the market, because if the price movement goes down and slowly down, this is going to push out a lot of people because they're getting frustrated, because they maybe bought the top of Bitcoin on one of these major pumps towards the upside in the hope that they're going to make a lot of money. And yes guys, this time is going to come. But remember what I've said, it is not about timing the market, it is about time in the market. And if you've been accumulating Bitcoin or any altcoin within this major consolidation phase, yes, you're going to make some major profit. But keep in mind, don't try to outpace the market. Yes, you're maybe down 60% or even 30%, but keep in mind, it is all about the time in the market, because this major breakout is going to come sooner than expected. And we're going to look at some indicators, but before we're going to do that, we're going to analyze the weekly chart. And once again, we can see that the price movement of Bitcoin is underneath the 13 moving average, which gives us the indication, are we in a bullish or even in a bearish trend? If the price movement of Bitcoin consolidates underneath the 13 moving average, this is a bearish trend. And if we're going to see that the price movement breaks above the 13 moving average, this is extremely bullish. And yes, we got this move all the way up to the 65,000 US dollars. We even reached the 66,000 US dollars, and then we saw this retracement. But guys, we're going to zoom out on the weekly chart. Yes, in the previous year we saw the same consolidation starting in March, and yes, this was also a boring sideways consolidation that pushed a lot of people out of the markets. And yes, I can remember these times when the price movement was exactly here. A lot of people were calling for a lower low for Bitcoin, breaking its previous low and the all-time low for Bitcoin exactly at the bear market bottom. And remember guys, I started my YouTube channel exactly here. We made some major profits on this major move towards the upside, but keep in mind guys, when it looks extremely fearful in the markets and Bitcoin is breaking the 13 moving average, once again, this usually is the time when a lot of people are going to turn bearish, and exactly at this moment, the market is going to turn around. And yes, the market always wins, and a lot of people are going to miss this major push towards the upside because they maybe have bought the top and they sold exactly here, because a lot of people are calling for lower numbers, or even economic stress causing for a lot of fear in the markets. And I do believe that this is going to be the last manipulation before we're going to get this major breakout towards the upside. Yes, I do believe we're going to get this bullish move all the way to the 65,000 US dollars, and that the US president election is going to be the major catalyst that is going to drive Bitcoin above the previous all-time high. And yes guys, I do believe we're going to get a bullish week within the next week, and that's why we're going to look at one indicator that has been extremely reliable. Yes, we're going to look at the moon phases, and yes, we saw that the price movement of Bitcoin saw this retracement exactly on a new moon, then we saw this pump on a full moon, retracement on a new moon, a pump on the full moon, and once again a pump on the full moon, and so on. We can see that the price movement dumped on this full moon, but ultimately guys, I do expect that the next move is going to be bullish all the way to the 65,000 US dollars within this next week, and if we're going to get this consolidation above this major levels, yes guys, if we're going to break the 60,000 US dollars, I do believe this is going to be an extreme fast move towards the downside, because I do believe this is just a major manipulation to get a lot of people bearish, and yes, maybe we're going to retest the 60,000 US dollars and then see this major push towards the upside, because a lot of people are going to sell exactly here, because a lot of people are calling for lower numbers, because yes, the market is always going to try to push out the retail investors so that they can accumulate exactly in these areas. And yes, we saw that the price movement got perfect support at the 60,000 US dollars, but in exactly 6 days we're going to see the next full moon. And yes guys, I really do believe that we're going to get this bullish impulse all the way to the full moon, because yes, if we're going to look at the moon phases, they're absolutely spot on guys. A lot of people don't believe in moon phases when it comes to investments, but we can see it has a very high win rate. But if we're going to look at the previous full moon exactly here, we had this bullish move leading all the way to the full moon, and then we saw this major breakout all the way to the new moon. And yes guys, I do believe we're going to see this major consolidation, that the 60,000 US dollars is going to be a strong support, and if we're going to break this level towards the downside, this is going to be a fast move which is going to be bought up extremely quick, and then we're going to get this push all the way back up into this range. And ultimately guys, I believe that we're going to see this break of the 65,000 US dollars a few days before the full moon or after the full moon, and that we're going to see this bullish impulse leading all the way to the elections. And yes, I do believe that Trump is going to win, and this is going to cause a major pump towards the upside, but this is not going to be the only catalyst. Be prepared for a lot of manipulation within this time frame, and a lot of people are going to sell exactly the bottom of this major consolidation, because remember, it is not about timing the markets guys, and we're going to look at some altcoins, but first let's look at some bullish points, because if we go over to X, yes, this is Bitcoin in October, and normally we can see that October was actually Uptober, because during this month we saw great returns on Bitcoin. In the year 2023, we saw this 28% pump, a 5% pump, and the average was around about 20%. In this month, yes, is starting out bearish, but if we're going to compare the previous Octobers, we can see that this major pump towards the upside only started around about mid-October, and this perfectly lines up with the full moon being in exactly 6 days. So I do believe we're going to get this bullish move leading all the way to the elections, because in the previous elections we saw the same scenario. In the year 2012, Bitcoin was extremely volatile just before the election, and then we saw this major pump. And in the year 2016, same scenario, volatility, but afterwards this major pump towards the upside. 2020 was not different, a consolidation period, and after the elections we saw this major pump. And this time guys, I believe we're going to get this bullish pump towards the upside, because I really hope and I really believe that Trump is going to win the election, and this is going to be extremely bullish for the overall crypto market. And even if he's going to lose, this is just going to cause a short-term volatility. But overall guys, Bitcoin has been around with no regulations, bans on mining, or even bans in China. And yes guys, Bitcoin will always reign supreme, because Bitcoin is the only decentralized blockchain and the only decentralized form of money, and the money of the future guys. And we're going to see this major breakout towards the upside, because once again guys, I do believe this is going to be the last manipulation before this major breakout towards the upside, because once again we're going to zoom out. First of all, look at all of these full moons, and yes, even this breakout in this previous consolidation, which actually was exactly on the 16th of October, which is going to perfectly line up with the next major full moon. This was the breakout, and yes, I do predict that in the next week we're going to get this breakout above the 65,000 US dollars, leading to the election, which is going to be extremely bullish. And yes, I know you feel the pain if you bought the top on some of these altcoins, because if we're going to look at the weekly bubbles, we can see some major gains. Sui is up 10%, but if we go on the monthly chart guys, we can see that even Nakamoto, Sei, Phantom, Sui, all of these coins are still in a profit. But yes guys, we are seeing this consolidation and this major dump in the overall crypto market. And yes, Bitcoin is maybe down a few percentages, but we can see that Stacks is already all the way from its high all the way to the levels that we are in at the moment. It dumped 20%. But if you bought exactly here guys, don't try to outpace the market by selling or trying to rebuy at a lower level, because if you don't have the conviction to buy the top and just hold and wait for this major breakout, guys, you won't have the conviction to buy. If Stacks is going to dump another 20%, you're not going to buy here. You're only going to enter the market if we are once again back above the previous high, and then you have lost a lot of money by trying to outpace the market. Because if we're going to zoom out all the way back to the previous cycle, and yes, once again this was in October 2020, so just before the start of this parabolic run towards the upside. So if you would have bought exactly here the top before this major breakout, you would have been down 58%. Even just the price movement from your entry price all the way to the swing high would have been another 900%. So if you bought the top exactly here guys, and you just would have held, you would have been up 900%. But if you would have sold exactly here and a loss of 58%, guys, you would have just lost by trying to outpace the market. And this is exactly here, because in the previous October, which was exactly here, this was also exactly the bottom. And yes, if you would have bought some of the tops all the way up here, you once again would have been down 52%. And yes, maybe you are down on some of these coins, but guys, believe me, this move towards the upside is going to catch a lot of people off guard. So yes, I do believe in the immediate short term that the price movement of Bitcoin is going to consolidate in between the 60,000 US dollars and all the way up to the 65,000 US dollars, maybe even get this bullish move all the way from the full moon, which is going to be in exactly 6 days. And if we're going to break this level towards the upside, we even come all the way back down to the 200-day moving average. But ultimately guys, I do believe we're going to get this bullish move all the way to the election, and that the election is going to be the major catalyst. But maybe I'm going to be wrong, and Bitcoin is going to break its previous all-time high before the elections, and that this is just going to drive the markets even higher. But overall guys, you're still extremely early, and if you bought the tops, don't try to outpace the market. And my worst case scenario for Bitcoin is going to be that Bitcoin is once again going to come all the way back into these major levels of 56,000 US dollars. But I believe we're going to move within this range, and that even if we're going to get this worst case scenario, that this is going to be an extremely fast move. And remember guys, if you always want to stay up to date, make sure to join my free Telegram group where I always keep you up to date. And if you want to find out how to trade on the spot market or even with leverage, make sure to watch this video. And yes guys, if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Because I told you all along that this is just going to be a major manipulation and a boring sideways consolidation, and that Bitcoin is not going to form a low. And yes, I do believe we're going to be exactly before this major breakout. And yes, exactly 1 year ago, we broke out on the 16th of October on a full moon. So yes, once again, I do believe that this full moon theory is going to give us this bullish indication. And overall guys, this is just the beginning of a major parabolic run. Yes, phase 2 of the bull market is about to start. So if you want to be part of this major movement, make sure to be subscribed, smash up the like button, and we see each other in the next video.